This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Hey, it's Fish at 6. Thanks to you for being a part of what we do here. Thanks to BetUS as well. Top 10 takes as we try to bridge the gap between last weekend and this weekend. We're not going hour by hour. We're not going day by day. We're going game by game as we get ready to go to Cleveland, week 1 regular season. I'm Mike Fisher, by the way, your trusty and trusted reporter. 71,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation and growing. Get in, get on, be good. All your comments will be reviewed by me, and none of them will be rejected. Not even the ones that are designed to hurt my tender feelings. And away we go. Get in, get on, be good. I'll do my part. You do yours. If you enjoy the program today, would you please hit the like button? You can do it now. It beats the algorithms and tells YouTube the kind of cowboy programming you want. You want Emmy Award-winning programming, right? Right. And at the completion of this program, you might look at it and say, old Uncle Fish, he's got a little something in his bag. Let's see if that's true. Go. Item 1. I'm not going to defend the Cowboys and their negotiating tactics. I've been around it forever. I've criticized it forever. I've been amused by it forever. In the end, that was honey. In the end, the job usually gets done. That's a fact. I'm not really a knee-jerk guy on any of this, again, because if you're a person of a certain age, like me, meaning I'm old, and like some of you, you've been through this before. You recognize this. Nothing new under the sun. No reinventing the wheel. So it's a combination of amusing and irritating when I see people saying the Cowboys' slowness, by the way, when we talk about why didn't they hurry up and sign CeeDee Lamb, why didn't they hurry up and sign Dak Prescott, people keep leaving out the 50% of the reason. 50% of the reason is because the other guy hasn't wanted to sign the deal yet. That's where we came up with Dak Prescott $60 million. That's where my source comes up with Dak Prescott $70 million, because he can just wait. CeeDee Lamb, somewhat of a different circumstance. But eventually, CeeDee Lamb's going to get paid too. So he sits and he waits. And panic ensues by the people that don't understand. So let me try this logic on you, please. If the feet dragging on the part of the Cowboys management on these contract extensions is evidence that Jerry Jones doesn't care about winning and doesn't care about a Super Bowl, and that's what many are saying. Many people say. That's a political term. Many people say. But it's true. You've seen it. This is proof that Jerry doesn't care. Then, using that logic, when CeeDee Lamb signs with the Cowboys, and he will, when CeeDee Lamb shows up for work, and he will, since him not being here means Jerry doesn't care about winning, once CeeDee Lamb shows up, will that mean Jerry Jones does care about winning? Tyler Guyton says the butterflies are out. And listen, Oklahoma, playing football at Oklahoma is kind of a big deal. But this is another level of big deal. And more levels are coming, because that was a preseason game at SoFi. Yeah. Regular season, going to be different. You know what? Week 3 at home at AT&T Stadium. That's going to feel different. So there's going to be some different levels of him and his butterflies. But it's his now. If anybody ever thought that Chuma Edoga was going to get in the way of Tyler Guyton starting at left tackle, and I never thought he was, well, now we've got Tyler Guyton with a broken toe. I'm sorry, Chuma Edoga with a broken toe. Tyler Guyton getting over the illness a little bit, and it's his baby now. Edoga, if you saw him as a critical piece, well, now you got a problem. How much better is Edoga than Awesome Richards? how much better is Awesome Richards than Matt Waletzko? Everybody's going to move up the totem pole now. And we're going to work on the assumption that Chuma Edoga might get put on IR. And I think that speaks to the fact that the Cowboys do think they have some depth in the offensive line. Again, heard a lot of people criticizing the Cowboys' offensive line depth. I think you're wrong. I think if Guyton can play, then this offensive line's good. If Guyton can play. And all indications are so far, yes, he can play. Item 3, and the Edoga injury, he was in a walking boot, had the MRI, broken toe. That doesn't cause an organization to go, uh-oh, we better rethink our plans for these games. The preseason live bullets. Edoga doesn't do it. But you know what? There will be one. Thursday night football, Friday night football, there will be one. There will be some nasty, horrible, terrible, ugly, gruesome injury, and it will cause the Cowboys and other teams to watch that Thursday night game and go, oh, we sure we want to play our guys? And they should question that. They should question it hard. I've had this argument with the great Babe Laufenberg for many years, who actually played quarterback in the NFL. So what do I know? Well, Babe would say, you need to play in the preseason to simulate live action, so you get the speed, the real speed. I'm like, but Babe, can't you just practice that? Can't you just practice guys with real speed coming at you? Can't you have 2 really fast defensive ends come at you and slap you on the shoulder pad as a quarterback as you're going by to simulate that speed? Why do you need to put yourself in harm? Dak Prescott or anybody else? Josh Allen? Maybe it's different with Caleb Williams in Chicago. They got to get him ready, just like Tyler Guyton. They got to get him ready. They got to play him. Maybe it's different with Jaden Daniels in Washington. And obviously, we'll get to the Cowboy backup quarterback situation in a moment. But very rarely do I feel like I need to see established starters in the preseason so they can get used to the speed. It's nonsense. Item 4, speaking of preseason and guys who do need to play. Trey Lance, was asked if he felt there was some rust. Not a dumb guy, Trey Lance. So listen to his answer. Football rust. He said, I'd hope not, but it has been a year. He said, now that's never going to be an excuse. I've had a lot of snaps, a lot of practice, OTAs, training camp. But there's a but. As a Cowboy fan, you might want to, as you observe what he did there, you might want to hold out hope that Trey Lance will be better this weekend at the Raiders than he was at the Rams because he hadn't played in a game like that in more than a year. BetUS, by the way, as you know, partnering up with us here, which includes a visit from Michael Vick.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
And item 5. Yes, they're America's team. According to Google, they are also, they're almost everybody's team. They're the number 1 team in the United States via Google. They're the number 1 team in Mexico via Google. You know all that, right? You knew those two. They are the number 1 team country after country after country, including India and China. Cowboys are the number 1 team in India, which is a big place. They're the number 1 NFL team in China, big place. Most popular team in most of Africa, including the Sudan, Egypt, and Libya. And also the number 1 team in Saudi Arabia, which, as many of you suspect, is going to someday buy the Cowboys. No, they're not. They're not buying the Cowboys. Saudi Arabia is not buying the Cowboys. So what about the Kansas City Chiefs that keep saying they're the world's team? Wonk, wonk. Nope. They're number one in Greenland. What about the Buffalo Bills? They keep saying the Buffalo Bills are number one in Canada. Why? Well, because Josh Allen could take a football almost and throw it from Buffalo to Canada. So that explains that. They are also number one in Scandinavia. And they're number one in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. Is Kazakhstan a real place? I thought that was Borat. I thought that's where Borat was from. The Dolphins are number one in England. I don't know why the Jaguars. That's got to be a big disappointment to the Jaguars owner. He's a London guy, and they're not number one there. The Broncos are number one in Australia, Mike. I don't know why. The Browns get Mongolia, and the Packers are number one. Oh, the Packers think they're America's team too. No, they are the number one team in a piece of Western Africa that's this big. That's all you get, Packers. Steelers, they like to think they're everybody's team. Nambia is their only. And the Arizona Cardinals, they're not even Arizona's team. The Arizona's most popular team, of course, is the Cowboys, but the most popular team in Vietnam is the Cardinals. So you got that going for you, which is nice. By the way, Russia does not have a favorite team. Somehow, I'm not surprised. Item 6, out comes out the news. The Cowboys, that listed as worth $10 billion last year, they're now worth $10.38 billion. It went up 3.8 something. And I know your response. You don't have to type it in if you don't want to. By the way, speaking of being digital, would you please go to Cowboys Country? That's on Athlon. Cowboys Country on Athlon, and find us there, and bookmark that. Keep it. I know. How can it be worth $10.38 billion and not signed for? I know. Item 7. Martavis goes to DQ. Dan Quinn is collecting Cowboy bodies. Martavis Bryant, 6'4" receiver, remember, suspended for almost half a decade. Then the Cowboys gave him a chance. Never quite elevated up off the practice squad. Looked really cool on the practice field, though, at 6'4". I couldn't resist. Every time Martavis Bryant was standing next to Cavante Turpin, I took a photo of it. I got 100 of them. He signs with Washington. Good for him. Good chance for him. He talked very frankly about, I was in a dark place. And you know, almost all the things you can imagine. He was dealing with a great deal of those. And for him to come out of that and get another crack, good for him. Meanwhile, item 8. Hey! Ben DiNucci, who, legend has it, got drafted by the Cowboys at the end of that round a couple years ago because he was Mike McCarthy's paperboy's nephew's grandson's barber's kid. He's still hanging in the league. He signs with Buffalo. They need an extra body. He's the third string quarterback in Buffalo, and that might not last long, but he gets another crack at it. What's he most famous? Man, he was a folk hero. He was almost for like a half a quarter against the Eagles. He was a folk hero, but he famously is the inventor of the upside down Dallas on ball caps. Genius. Let's take the word Dallas. Let's take the word straight dope, no bullsh. Let's put it on a coaster like we've done. You can get this coaster. You can get a set of these coasters. They're like heavy and really nice. The Uncle Fish store below, run by Broken Halo, who's got all kinds of new stuff, including new colors of new stuff. Let's take straight dope, no bullsh, very popular, and Ben DiNucci. Let's turn it upside down and sell them like that. On Blisky, Doble, Skisko. I told you we're popular in Russia. Isn't that what I said? Marvion Overshone. He must have been doing this down in East Texas, where he's from. He's from ARP. And he's got his big black cowboy hat, and it fits in beautifully down there, and it fits in great here in Frisco as well. And he said, as he was rehabbing, kind of just trying to stay competitive and test his reflexes and have something to do, he was trying to see how efficiently and quickly he could swat flies. If they ever have the scouting combine in ARP, that's going to be a competition. We got to run the 40, got to do the shuttle drill. How many times can you bench press 225 pounds? And swat some flies, kids. Thanks again to BetUS for being a part of what we do. Item 10. So, the kicker Aubrey, he's at the Rams game, does his job almost perfectly. And he gets out of there, toot sweet, out of SoFi. Why was he hurrying out of SoFi? Where did he have to go? You're having a baby. Mrs. Aubrey is having a baby. And so he did his job, and he caught a flight, and he found his way back to his sweetheart, to the lovely Aubrey family, which of course has its roots right here in McKinney, Texas. And speaking of making an exit, me too. You know why? It's date night. Fish out.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.